Good morning, I'm Brent Borouski. I am a trained Interprovincial Red Seal certified Journeyman Chef, and today I will be preparing for you how to make my version of a dark rye bread and buns. I will be using a Kenwood Chef here. I'll be mixing it starting off in the mixer and finishing off by kneading and then separating it and then rolling some in for bread and then some into for buns. So to get started, I'll be using a bread flour or all-purpose flour you can also use, and it's equal measures of 3 cups of bread flour or all-purpose flour, 3 cups of dark rye or dark rye flour. I like to mix all my dry ingredients together and then add my wet ingredients. That way I can control the wetness and how much liquid goes into my bread dough. And then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of caraway seeds, 2 ounces of cocoa powder, 2 ounces of the bakery format I use, the quick rise yeast, and again also 2 ounces of regular sucrose table sugar. And again, I'll start by mixing it in. Make sure that dry ingredients are mixed thoroughly, incorporated, and then I'm going to add my wet ingredients. And from then on, I am going to add 1/3 of a cup of molasses. It's heated a little bit above a lukewarm temperature, so it's easy to pour into and stuff like that. It's not too cold. Next I'll be adding a third of a cup of butter or margarine, or you can use a shortening if you wish. I prefer butter or margarine. Have a little bit better flavor. And again, slowly incorporating it into the dry mixture and slowly making it wet. Now going to add 2/3 of a cup of water, and finishing off with in between 1 and 1.5 cups of heated milk, and they're both at temperatures between 110 and 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Just mixing it in, incorporate it until it makes a nice dough. It should be a little bit wet, and then your average bread dough, it should come out just a little bit wetter and stickier, but won't rise as high as a regular basic bread dough recipe. And it's a little bit more dense when it comes out. Going to sprinkle some flour after, because after it's mixed, I am going to knead it, then separate it, and top into a bread loaf, and into making buns. Just going to speed up the mixer here a little bit. Let the process start a little bit. machine is actually helping to knead it and mix it thoroughly. So when I do it by hand, it's less time. And pretty much want to make sure that when it's mixed, all the along the sides are all nice and clean around the bowl. And that's a good sign that your mixture is not too wet. But also you don't want it too dry either. And it should take approximately 2 to 3 minutes mixing at this temperature, at this rate of speed. And then I'm going to finish off by hand. That's more flour. As I said, it comes out a little bit more wetter and stickier than your average basic bread. And I see now coming along clean around the sides. I will now finish it off by kneading it. Your dough should have a slightly warm feel to it because of the temperature of the liquids you put into it to help the yeast and to help in the rise of the yeast, activating the yeast. You can also use a proofer, but most places I know in the kitchen don't have a proofer, so it is a warm spot in your plate, in your home. It's my version of dark rye bread. Yeah, separate it roughly as you have over 800. Now to make your bread loaf, you're going to be kneading it, working the dough, making it stiff, and working the dough, stretching it. And then we're going to round it into a ball. Nicely into a ball. Then flatten it down while this one's resting. We're doing the loaf first. We're going to fold the top half first in towards the center, down, and press it in. The bottom half towards the center, fold it in, and the sides, fold it in towards the center, making it a rectangular loaf. Going to be pinching it together a little bit at the bottom so it doesn't separate. And now into a greased, butter lined or greased or butter or margarine, a bacon bread. And we're going to set this aside and let it proof. It should double in height. Okay, let's set that over here while I make my buns quickly. Just roll it, shape it, make sure they're And then I'm going to place it on a baking sheet aligned with parchment paper. And the dark rye bread, it's good if you're into like Reuben's or Montreal smoked meat on rye, dark rye bread, and things like that. You can have it on bread or you can have it on buns. Make it with a nice hot soup on a cold winter's day and things like that. I like to have borscht myself personally, with a dark rye bun. And roll them into a bowl. Roll them into the bowl, then you're going to let it proof for a good 20 minutes to half an hour. And then you're going to bake it at roughly about 350 to 375. The temperature for buns will take about 20 minutes. The bread from 20 to 30 minutes. So, being the bread loaf is a little bit larger in size. Your dark rye bread loaf and your buns, you set it aside, let it proof, let it rise, and it should come out looking like this, almost double in height, as you can see. I'm going to stick this one into the oven along with the buns. And when you're done, your bread should look something like this when it comes out of the oven. Quickly. After it comes out of the oven, puts a little bit, nice butter on it. That's set aside. On a baking wrap. There you have it. Dark rye, bread and buns, easily, simply, with your favorite meats, deli meats, with soup on a hot day, on a cold day, winter's day, and it's great. To show you, nice dark loaf of rye bread. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you give this a try. It's one of my favorite recipes, and also that I deal with people that have got feedback and said they like it too. So give it a try and see how well you can do it yourself. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.